These people who introduced meth to my life were also white nationalists. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically a fancy term for white supremacist, someone who believes that the world needs to be controlled by white people. It's very, very common in the gay community. A lot of white supremacists, people with Nazi tattoos, somehow they're part of the Aryan Brotherhood. I don't know how, because the Aryans aren't generally very accepting of homosexuals. But there are sects within these large white supremacist groups that allow gay people in to peddle drugs and stuff like that, and take the charges, so they end up going to prison and the other people can keep doing the big stuff. I was privy to a lot of that at a really young age, and it was all over the gay community. There are porn companies involved, gay porn companies that are involved.
Okay, so y'all just heard that little clip right there of a much longer, I'm sure, video. I don't know where I can go to find the entire video, but I got what I feel that I needed from just this 57-second clip. Now, I don't know who this individual is. I have no clue who this person is, but I came across this video on Twitter and it said I have to speak on it because this is something that I and several others have been speaking about when it comes to the academy, at least the PC people in the academy. And for some reason, you have a lot of black people who are in the academy who just, for some reason, like to turn a blind eye to stuff like this. And there's always this thing like, if it comes out of the mouth of a PC individual, then it has to be true. Because when it comes out of the mouth of a black person, then it has to be questioned of its validity, especially if it's coming out of the mouth of a black person who is not in the academy. So it's like, apparently we just don't know what we're talking about. We need to mind our business, so on and so forth. So you have this guy right here who literally, I guess you can say in his own way, went off code. I think I'm actually title the thumbnail that I'll probably title it Breaking Code or something like that. It'll be on the thumbnail and y'all will see it. So he just basically came on. He actually came on here and said something that many of us have been saying for quite some time now, that there is a lot of races and dub S's inside of that academy. And it's of no surprise. But here you have this guy right here who clearly is in the academy, and he's exposing it for the people out there to see who may be in some kind of denial when it comes to how the academy actually is, especially when it comes to how they treat black people who are in it and who they truly are. Now, these individuals have multiple shields protecting them. One is the obvious, they're PC. They have the privilege right there of their skin tone and their skin color and how they choose to identify as far as race goes. The second one is they may have gender on their side. If they are a male, they might have, privilege on that side. Hell, if they're a female, they might have privilege on their side. But I'm going to assume that he's probably talking mainly about white males. He didn't give a gender of who, but when he started mentioning some of the stuff like the tattoos and the Aryan Brotherhood and stuff like that, then it's safe to assume that he's mainly talking about white males. Not saying that he's leaving PC females out of the equation, but we can read between the lines. The other thing that they have protecting them is the fact that they are in the academy. So they have a Trinity right there effect that's protecting them. I guess you can say a square if they identify as Jewish as well. Remember, Ezra Miller, he has the Trinity effect. He's a white male who happens to be in the academy and also identifies as Jewish. So like I said, he has the Trinity effect protecting him, but I threw in a fourth one. That's why I said it's more like a square instead of a triangle, but it is what it is. And he also mentioned something, speaking of Aryan Brotherhood, he also mentioned something very interesting as well when he said that a lot of them who are a part of the Aryan Brotherhood, it kind of throws them off because it's like they don't even like people who identify as homosexual. But here they are in this academy, and they're still a part of these groups that would probably try their best to take out anybody who identifies as those who are in the academy. So he said that just kind of threw him off, but that's the point. They bend the rules for themselves, but still maintain their racist and dub S nature. Because before they most likely became or came out, quote unquote, they always had that racist nature inside of them. It's just that they now have a shield to protect them even more. A lot of people who are PC in that academy tend to hide behind their sexuality on a lot of things, a lot of derogatory things, some perverted things as well, but we ain't gonna get into that. But y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, because I just did a video about this quote unquote trans individual who did some very violating things to their own child, that they're literally their own child. The family, in Jersey. So a lot of them tend to hide behind that. Then he was saying that they would wear Nazi tattoos on their arms. Like he said, they're out there. They are out there. They are very present, and they are very much out there. And he's just basically telling people, what it is. Now, like I said, I didn't have to hear this from him to know exactly what he was talking about, because I've talked about this on my channel a few times, saying that it's a lot of races who identify as Academy members. No matter if they're the L, the G, the B, the T, or any other letters and numbers and symbols of that organization or that whatever, that lifestyle, they are there. But like I said, a lot of them use it as a shield to protect themselves against any type of scrutiny, because they have found a way to slither their way into becoming in a quote unquote oppressed class, or seen as a minority. Oh, there's no way that I can be racist because I didn't identify as this. Oh, I'm a part of this oppressed class, so there's no way I could possibly be racist. See what I mean? That's all it really is. They are using this as a buffer or a cover in order to hide their true nature. I don't care if they choose to identify as the sky. If you are a dub S, you just simply are that. You just happen to wear a rainbow flag or the rainbow colors. It doesn't matter, because racism doesn't come as a lifestyle. It's just it's a system. It's who a lot of them are. You can wear a suit and still be a racist. You can wear gym attire and still be a racist. You can be a CEO and still be a racist. You can be an athlete and be a racist. You can be anything out there and still hold the title of being a racist, even identifying as someone in the academy. Point blank, period. But they'll try to have you believe that it's no way that can possibly be true. But, while I am glad that this guy, clearly he got off cold, because, he wasn't supposed to say what he said, as a white man at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, even though he's in the academy, he still has the privilege of being a white male. While I do appreciate that he came out and he actually said that, I really didn't even have to have him say this, because we already knew this. And if you watch the movie Buck Breaking by Tariq Nasheed, he actually talked about this. This was actually one of the narratives that they were talking about, racism inside of the academy. And we just feel that while it's not every black person is not calling it out, excuse me, there aren't too many of them calling it out for what it is. Because many of them feel that they have found a haven inside of that academy. Now, there are some who say that the same thing that this guy said, but again, because they're black, no one's going to listen to them, because they don't have a voice. I have the strongest feeling they don't have a voice over there. A lot of them are just the mascot, like your silly Porters. We know he ain't gonna call it out. This PC man called out Dub S a whole lot faster than Silly Porter would. Now, isn't that something? This guy got off cold with his own community, and Silly Porter can't get on cold with ours. Make it make sense. But we know how Silly Porter is. He doesn't like black people. He also doesn't like heterosexual black men. He's pretty much made that clear, crystal clear, for the last couple of years with the words that have spewed out of his mouth. But yeah, kudos to this man for actually, putting it out there and saying what has to be said, because he didn't have to. He's probably risking a bit for even saying such a thing, because like I said, it is off code. One, it's off code with his community of being PC, and two, it's off code with his community of being in the academy, because I'm sure they don't want that stain to be put out there. They feel like we're on the come up, we're on the rise, and we don't need this to fall onto us. As if people don't already know that there's racism in that academy. Because at the end of the day, you may identify as one or two or several things, but you can still be a racist. I just gave a list of different titles and occupations you can have and still hold that title. But the thing is, a lot of them in that academy feel that by them identifying as such, there's no possible way that they could be racist or white supremacists. That's not how this works. You can still be that and still identify as someone who lives an alternative lifestyle. Like, one doesn't, defeat the other. But that's my take on it.